Hey, my friend, you made it. Welcome to the Because I Can Live podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you are warm wherever you're at this beautiful spring day. I'm in Puerto Rico. It's always warm here. Unless Jared has the AC jacked up. And then I'm walking around with the ultimate stadium sack around my head. It literally is like this sleeping bag that you can walk around in. I know, it's amazing. It's perfect for church. It's perfect for the movie theater. My kids won't make eye contact with me and pretend that they have nothing to do with me. So anyway, I hope that you are having a beautiful day, all cozy and ready to learn with today's podcast guest. Now, I've actually known this podcast guest for, I think it's about 4 years now. And the first time I met her, I was like, I got to get her on a podcast, even before I was doing podcast episodes, because of her mission. What she does is she shows you how to find clarity in your business and in your life, and also how to become unstoppable. Imagine if you could find that clarity. Imagine what that would do to you as a person. And probably help you move huge boundaries, right? I know when my head is fuzzy or I can't figure out how to get in where I'm supposed to be. Like maybe I'm selling this product or delivering this message and it's not right. I can feel it internally. And then when I'm on, like nothing can stop me. Jared is like, woo, you just got on a soapbox. No matter what it is, because I'm in the zone, I'm in the moment. And what if we could continually do that to help us to move forward, to help us to get to our goals faster? And so I brought in Natasha Hazlett because that's what she focuses on. And so she's going to dive into 3 ways to help you become clear in your mission, whatever it is. Maybe it is, how do you become clear in your business, or how do you become clear as a wife and to know how to serve and love and honor and run a business and still love your husband and do all the things that wives have to do. Or maybe it's motherhood. And so anyways, we're going to dive into today's podcast episode, and I think you're going to have quite a few notes to take. All right, here we go. Let's get started. Okay, Natasha, I am so grateful that you are spending the time with us, because I know there's so much that you can share with our audience, but we need to back it up. Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yes, I am. First of all, Alison, thank you so much for inviting me to be on your amazing podcast. I'm so excited to be here. And so here's the story. I'm a mom of 3 kids, 2 little boys and a little girl. And I am a recovering lawyer. So glad I was able to quit my full-time job as a practicing attorney. I am the author of Unstoppable Influence, Be You, Be Fearless, Transform Lives. And my husband, Richard, and I own a personal development training company. It's called Unstoppable Influence. So that is the highly nutshell version of who I am. And I like to always start with the fact that I'm a mom, because that's the best job ever.
It is the best job ever. And I got to see you do your last pregnancy on stage with twins. And didn't you have the babies the day after?
72 hours later, twins came out. So, we got to do what we got to do. But
I wonder if the pressure of speaking in front of, what was it, 6,500 people?
Yeah, it was big. But it was so amazing. It just shows you how much your mindset. I promised the event organizer that I would not go into labor on stage. I promised that I would be there. I would show up. And that's just the power of that decision, that I'm going to be on that stage, chance of a lifetime. And I did it, went in to deliver the twins 72 hours later.
I love it. I remember you were up there and you're like, guys, I'm not out of breath. I'm totally out of breath, but it's not because of me. It's because this baby is like kicking my lung.
Yes. I totally remember that's baby A. So okay. Yeah, such great time.
You actually are the title of your book, Unstoppable. You got up there, even though you had a bajillion excuses to not do this, you were unstoppable. So, can you explain what you describe or what you mean by the word unstoppable?
When I am talking to people about the notion of being unstoppable, I believe that we are all here on purpose and we're here for an important purpose. And I believe that the ideas and the inspiration that is placed on your heart, it has a need to come out in the world in some way. And so my job is to help people to get the clarity and confidence to be unstoppable, so that we don't allow excuses. We don't allow comfort zones to stop us from fulfilling the things that are divinely placed on our heart. Because there's someone out there that you don't even know yet that is counting on you to not quit. They are counting on you to succeed and to show up in a big way.
Oh, I love that. Someone is counting on you to not quit. Okay, so you're taking humans, beautiful humans, and you're helping to create the clarity to help them to become unstoppable. Can you give us some steps, like break that down, what that means, and maybe a pathway of how we get rid of excuses and how we find that clarity?
So I have a clarity roadmap. So I'll give it to you right now. So the first step is you got to decide, what do you want to get clear on? That's a really important element, because a lot of people don't make a decision. They just are kind of out there in the ether, and they're just like, I wonder what my purpose is. Well, that's really big.
Yeah,
What about what's your purpose on in this season? And are you committed to getting clear on it? Because that's what a lot of people, they miss the boat. They're not really committed to it, right? Commitment. I read a quote somewhere that said, commitment is staying true to the thing you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. And so a lot of times, like it's so good, right? We say that we want clarity in a particular area, but we don't do anything about it. And that's typically because we haven't really decided that that's what we want. And then the next step is, has anyone done what you want to do? And you know that for most people, like, unless you're like the Wright brothers who had this vision for a flying machine, there's a very high likelihood that someone has actually done what it is that you want to do. And so you need to start making a list of who are the people that have done what it is that you want to do. And so then it's pretty simple. You're going to write down this question: what would it take to know how to blank, right? Like whatever you want to get clarity on, what would it take? Because a lot of people are so worried about, I'm so overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. Instead of just, I don't know, or I can't, we reframe it. What would it take to know? Maybe it's doing a Google search. Maybe it's hiring a coach, getting a program, joining a challenge, whatever the thing is. And you start to move forward and you start making decisions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then you move on to what is the next available action step that you can do, like one thing. And that's really where everyone tries to do all the things, which is why they feel overwhelmed. They feel stuck. And so if, you do this so well, Alison, it's just, what's the next thing I need to do? You set a deadline.
I'm like queen of overwhelm. My brain will shut down. And I've learned that about myself. And so I literally can put 3 things on my to-do, and then I feel so accomplished at the end of the day. And Natasha, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I put brush my teeth because I need a simple win for me to move forward, to say, you know what, I can do this. I'm not overwhelmed. Overwhelmed, go sit in the corner. Like, let's dive in. Let me cross off brushing my teeth. Knock that out.
Absolutely. Yeah. For me, it's a shower, with the kids, with the twins, 2-year-old twin boys, like getting the shower is like the big win for the day. But, you take action, you do the one thing, you stop worrying about all the things. You stop worrying about what are all the steps that you need to do and just focus on the one. Because when you can focus on the one thing, you're going to give yourself true freedom. You're going to you're going to set yourself up for a win, which is so important so that you feel empowered to take the next step and the next step.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Why did you get into this? Into teaching people? Like, you're a lawyer. You made good money doing that, doing law. I'm not a lawyer. I could see why I would never want to be a lawyer. I don't have the focus to read all those books, those law books. No, thank you. So, but why did you switch? This is a massive career change from a lawyer to helping people find clarity and becoming unstoppable. Like, they're not even in the same spectrum of anythingness.
As with pretty much everything that we do, it was a total journey. I couldn't have told, if you told me 15 years ago that this is what I would do, I would be on the floor laughing. I mean, the fact that I have a book on personal development and spirituality is so absurd when you look at where I was 15 years ago. And so, it really all started in my law office after about a year of practicing law. And I realized that I had made a mistake. I had a feeling that I was meant for more. I just didn't know what more was. And, my head was saying, you got to slow down. You're in a great job. People would love to be a lawyer. Just stay where you are. And my heart was like, no, this isn't for you. And that's when I found the world. About 6 months later, I discovered the world of home-based businesses. And that's what really opened up everything to me, this concept of plan B, and that I could be my own boss. And I was just like, wow. No more living my life by billable hours. No more reading really boring books and, and court opinions from, the 1800s. I mean, so snooze fest, right? And so that's really how this whole thing took off. I had a direct sales company and I worked for a direct sales company. And from that, I found the world of internet marketing. And I found the world of blogging. And so I used to be a blogger. You didn't even know this about me, Alison. I was blogging in 2007. I had affiliate links in my blog back in 2007. And
what was the name of your blog?
Oh my gosh. It was my travel blog. It was Blues City Travel. That is hot. I know. I mean, seriously.
Is it still up and running?
No, thank goodness. No, it's definitely not. It was so bad. It was perfectly imperfect, but it was a great launch pad. And from that, we ended up designing our own training products and programs. And then I was able to quit my full-time job as an attorney back in 2012. But as you know, just because you hit such a milestone doesn't mean that it's all perfect, because once I started doing this full time and we had a multiple six-figure business, it seemed all great. And then I hit a wall. I had really walked away from personal development. I dealt with a lot of fertility issues, and I ended up extremely overweight, depressed. And in March of 2016, I actually told my husband, I think I'm done. I want to go back to practicing law full time. And that is the moment that I had a big choice to make. And I think that a lot of people face this, where you just say, you know what, I don't know that I want to continue on anymore. And luckily for me, I had a ticket to an event in San Diego filled with a bunch of entrepreneurs. And I decided that I didn't want to waste the plane ticket and the hotel room, and the ticket to the event was not cheap. So I got on that plane. And by the third day, I was inspired. And I realized I needed to lose weight to get myself healthy before anything else. And so that's what I did. And I hired a nutrition coach. I lost 55 pounds in 5.5 months.
Oh my gosh. Is that with Christy Code Red?
That is with Christy Code Red.
I
And
love
I
her.
turned around and helped her grow. I had a few business suggestions for her that ended up working out very well for her. And her business absolutely took off. And from that moment of shedding the weight, deciding I wanted to truly love myself again, I went on this eat, pray, love journey, like minus the elephants and all the travel. And that is really where this whole thing was born. I tried a bunch of other things. I was committed to finding out who I was and what my purpose was in this season.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I was inspired to write a book, which I wrote in 22 days.
Oh my gosh. Record timing.
I know. It's amazing. I mean, it all came out. And then I realized that I needed to teach the things that were in the book. And that's how I ended up doing what I do now. I mean, it was just truly accidental. It was just me walking along in faith and always saying yes to the divine nudges on my heart. And it just led me to this beautiful place that I can't even believe this is my life. I can't believe that I get to do this. I would have never predicted it 15 years ago that this is why I'm here and that I'm even capable of doing something like this. And yet here we are.
Oh, so good. Kate, so you had to go through it. You took Christy Code Red through it. Kate, what's another example of someone that you've taught especially these 3 steps? 1, decide what you want to be clear on. Number 2, has anyone done what you want to do? And then 3, write in, fill in the blank, what would it take to know how to blank and help to create that clarity? Do you have some examples?
Oh my goodness. So, with clients that are trying to figure out what they want for a book, for example, all of a sudden, when I have had several clients who have been able to finish their book in a full year, and just in a year, which is for a lot of people, 80% of people, I've read a statistic, have a book on their heart. They don't actually get it done.
80%.
Yeah, it's
I'm one of
unbelievable.
those 80%.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah. And it really breaks my heart because there are ideas that are in your mind that other people need to read. So you need to get your book done, Alison. But
I Facebook Lives until I can get that done.
That's right.
I'm podcasting.
I love it. I love it. So we have taken people through this process, and all of a sudden, because they've gone through the steps, now they have a book in their hand. And it's this absolute fulfillment. I've got another client who wasn't sure exactly what she wanted to do. And she was with a direct sales company, top in direct sales. Mm-hmm. And she had this vision that there was maybe something else for her. And once she got clear on the kinds of people that she wanted to serve, and she went through this process, she now has a multiple 6-figure business, and a business that completely supported her when she lost her husband.
Oh man.
41, widow, 3 children. Oh, absolutely heartbreaking. And this is where her foresight in getting the support that she needed years before to help her walk the path to get clear. And, and that's one of the things that I am always encouraging people. You reach out to the people who have done what you want to do. Shorten the learning curve. Yes. There's no reason for you to go and be the pioneer to try to figure out how to do it the first time. And that's what I've seen. Yeah.
Amen to that.
There's just no need. I mean, of course, it took me forever to finally reach out and get help. And, as a result, it probably took me 5 years longer than necessary. And that's why I'm so committed to helping other people see, you know what? You do need help. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't have to figure it out on your own. Reach out to the people that have done it before.
Mm-hmm. And who have a passion for it too. right? How many times do you see someone that has done it and they're just burnt out and they don't have a passion for it? I think that's another big thing that we have to look for. Okay, so you keep talking about getting clear, decide what you want to be clear on, but how do you even start that process? I mean, most new entrepreneurs have like 15,000 ideas. I've been there and I started 8 of them all at the same time, right? And then it was through work and through testing and trial that I found out what I really wanted to do when I grew up. But how do you coach someone or tell someone how to find that thing to be clear on?
So the first thing, well, let's take an example of lots of different business ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I have people brainstorm all the different possibilities. Like if they have like 8 different business ideas, brainstorm it and visualize it all the way through, or take the notes of it all the way through. Chances are by the time you get done, there's going to be one that you really like that's going to stand out above the others. And that's the one that you want to pick. I always tell people, maybe it's a Southerner in me, pick a horse and ride on it. You can't be doing all 8. You have to just be willing to go deep, just like an oil company, right? When they go and they lease the land, yes, they make investments and they're going and drilling the holes to see which ones are going to yield the oil.
Yes.
There is a level of testing in that and trial in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so until you can find the thing that you're like, you know what, this one feels right. This one feels like, I'm in alignment with it. And that doesn't mean that just because you're in alignment, that you're not going to ever have things that are not so fun to do in your business. We all have to deal with some of the not fun in our business. It's not all candy cane and lollipops, but
that would be, no, I won't say it. I can think of a whole lot of things that I hire out because I want to keep looking for the lollipops. Like that's fun for me. The lollipop of the job. Then I'm like, let's hire some of this other stuff out that I don't want to do. But you can't do that on day one. I understand that.
You can't do it on day one, but as soon as you can, outsource it as fast as you can. And that's definitely something that I do and that I encourage other people to do as well. But, I think that a lot of people don't want to decide because they are afraid. And I think that that's actually the very first step. And if you get to a place where you cannot make a decision on that, you really want to get clear on something. Like I have people give me a scale from 1 to 10. How committed are you to getting clear on this? And if it's anything less than a 9 or a 10, I tell them why. I want you to answer the question, why is it that you aren't a 9 or a 10? Usually it's because of a fear of some sort, at which point I will tell them, okay, fear of making a mistake, fear of looking silly, fear of success, fear of failure, whatever it is. So then I'll tell them, okay, then what we actually need to do first is we need to get clear on the reasons why I am feeling this fear. And a lot of times that requires getting a mindset coach or someone that can walk you through the process, because ultimately that fear is like a shackle that is going to stop you from ever taking action. And so a lot of times people do have to do the mindset work. And this is something that I was missing in the first probably 8 years of entrepreneurship, because I was always such a driven individual and a self-proclaimed approval addict. So I just was not worried about the mindset. I didn't need anyone to motivate me to do anything. I was perfectly fine until I hit a wall. And in 2016, I hit the wall hard and it almost left the entire business. And so I think that it's the mindset. Sometimes it's the mindset work that actually has to be done before you're ready for the clarity on the next step.
Okay. That's good. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Okay. So I know we've been on for a little bit. Is there anything else that you want to say before? Because I would love for you to give like top 3 takeaways for new entrepreneurs who are stuck in their head feel like they're going everywhere. And then I want to talk about this really cool challenge that you do to help
Awesome.
people find clarity. You good with that?
Awesome. Well, the one thing that I would tell everyone is, once you make your decision, focus on just one action step at a time, because otherwise you're going to put yourself into overwhelm.
Mhm.
Overwhelm is not a productive place to be. And so, in fact, I don't use the word overwhelm. The only time I talk about overwhelm is when I'm helping people to not be overwhelmed and I'm trying to remove that language pattern from them.
Mhm.
And so go into action mode, just one thing at a time. You do not need to know the entire path.
Yep.
If you know the whole path, you're going to be overwhelmed. That's just the reality. Don't do it to yourself, one step at a time.
I love that. I'm writing that down. That's good. You don't need to know the whole path or you'll get overwhelmed. Good. Yeah. Like my path, I was only given a half a step. I wasn't even given a full step because God, universe, whatever you believe in, didn't allow me to because he knew that I would get overwhelmed. So I literally do things half a step at a time and it feels good. I mean, I'm uncomfortable because it's still moving forward. And so I love that you said that because if really 15 years ago, when you started your journey, knowing what you know now, you probably would have been freaked out and been like, whoa, I can't do that. I'm a lawyer. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. No, don't tell me I'm doing that. So I think it is given to us, dripped over time, little by little.
Absolutely. I would have never said yes to writing a book. I could have, if the whole path was revealed to me in the office that day that I was wondering if I was meant for something more, I would never have taken the first step because I wasn't prepared. I needed to be on the journey, not knowing every single door that was going to open or every single door that's going to close. I just had to take it one step at a time because that's where the growth comes. And that's where you become the person capable of doing the big things that you're uniquely called to do.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Any others you want to add?
I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. Then tell us about this clarity challenge that you have.
So I have had so many people that are so epically talented, and yet they're not doing the things that are placed on their heart. And when I ask them, why are you not doing the things that are placed on your heart? The answer is always the same. I'm not clear. I don't know what to do next. And so I have this superpower for helping people get clarity. I don't know why. It's just that way. In fact, with our highest level clients, I have something called my clarity day. And I literally have back-to-back 20-minute sessions where I help them get clear in just 20 minutes. It can be really fast. And so I decided, you know what? That's it. Everyone in our higher level program, I'm going to teach everyone this clarity framework. And I'm going to go in depth so that they understand the exact process, because this is how we're going to start getting a lot more stuff done in the world. A lot more light, a lot more love, lots more brilliance shining out there. If people can get out of their head and they have a step-by-step framework and understand the reasons behind each of the steps. And so I launched a 5-day Get Clarity Challenge, and we just had the inaugural group. And I was so freaking nervous, I have to tell you, because I know that the framework works for me. I know that the individual clients that I've worked with, that it works for them. But could I really, truly, in 5 days, get complete strangers that don't even know me, haven't ever worked with me before, could I help them get clear? And we just wrapped that up. And I was blown away at the results. And so it was so rewarding knowing that this really does work. And it doesn't have to take forever. Just 5 days.
Love it. Love it. Where can they sign up for that?
It's at unstoppableinfluence.com/get clarity.
Okay. And then where can they find more about you?
You can go to our website at unstoppableinfluence.com. And you can find us on Facebook at unstoppableinfluence.com.
Are you on Instagram?
Loosely at Natasha Hazlett and at Unstoppable Influence. I'm so not an Instagrammer, but I want to be. When I grow up, I want to be an Instagrammer.
Why? You're doing great. I don't think everybody needs to be on every single social platform.
No, I totally agree. I do see so much potential in Instagram. And I think that I've got my own weird hangups about Instagram. And so that's one of those ones that I want to learn a little bit more and explore it instead of just shutting it down, which is what I have had a tendency to do.
Well, I love it. You're so successful and you're like, well, you know what? It's cool. Is cool the right word? I'm just going to use it. It's cool to see that how successful that you are and how much you've helped other people. You're like, I'm not ready for that. I'm going to put that to the side and I'm going to focus on this. So I think that's just being a great example of your limitations and what you can do. And then being right behind your head, being you. I'll get there.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you were saying, what are the 3 takeaways for entrepreneurs that are just starting out? And, I think that's one of them is that you don't have to do all the things.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all the social media. That's one of the things that people think they have to, all of a sudden become a master of the podcast and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok or whatever the, flavor du jour is. For me, I've always just loved Facebook. I like Facebook Lives. I like being able to just get on and talk. I knew that podcasting one day would be super fun for me. And so we're just about to launch our own podcast show. But, it's just one thing at a time. Like you don't have to do all the things.
Yep. Yeah. And please don't do all the things. You'll get burnout. And our kids, our family, our husband, our moms, our dads, everybody, they need us. They need humans in their life. Awesome. Yeah. Natasha, thank you so much for being on and sharing your time with us. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, here we go with Natasha's top 10 takeaways that I picked out. As always, let me know if you had the same takeaways as too. I'm going to start with 10, and then I'm going to work all the way down to number 1. Number 10, you've got a purpose. Which leads us to number 9 is someone is counting on you to find that purpose and not quit and keep going because they are waiting for you. Number 8, decide what to be clear on. I know that one's kind of hard, right? But she gave us some great tips on how to do that. Number 7, find someone with experience that has done what you want to do. Number 6, fill in the blank. What would it take to know how to blank? Fill in that blank right there, which leads me to number 5. Do that one thing that you just wrote down. Do the one thing versus all of the things. Number 4, reach out to those people who've done the thing that you want to do. Start asking them questions. Start following them on social media and figure out what they've done. They can save you a heck of a lot of time and a heck of a lot of mistakes. Number 3, if you're struggling with the clarity, brainstorm out all the ideas and then start visualizing it from the start to the end, how you're going to serve your customers, and one is going to stand out more than the others. Number 2, I love this analogy. Pick one horse and ride on one horse. And then number 1, if you know the whole path to get to where you're going, you're probably going to be really overwhelmed. You're not supposed to know everything. You're not supposed to know the path. Just take one step at a time, or in my case, 1/2 step at a time. All right, I hope you loved that podcast episode as much as I did. Thanks for hanging out here and making the Because I Can Life podcast a part of your life. Thank you for rating it, sharing it, tagging on Instagram, because that allows it to grow so I can keep bringing on amazing people to interview. All right, Go out there, have a beautiful life, live your because I can life, put that money in your pocket where it belongs. I'll see you next time.